Doctor Who is a Time Lord traveling through time and space in a TARDIS, which looks like an unassuming British police box. You can step into a TARDIS, which is famously bigger on the inside, at the Comic-Con Museum's exhibit Doctor Who, Worlds of Wonder, where science meets fiction. The immersive exhibit features costumes from every Doctor from 1963 to the present, as well as screen-used props and interactive stations. My favorite spot is the Monster Vault, where you can find a Weeping Angel, an Ice Warrior, and Daleks.
They are small, bubbling pots of hate.
That's Andrew Beach, who started watching Doctor Who on TV as a kid. Now, this silver Dalek is on loan to the exhibit from his large private collection.
You have to understand the BBC is not geared up to actually keep things from the programmes. So whenever anything to do with the Doctor himself or the companions or the TARDIS was in danger of being lost or being sold off or whatever, I was usually there with a checkbook. And yes, this Dalek behind me is one of the examples of the collection. It was something that I had made many years ago as a fan, just to adorn my living room.
But since it was such an accurate replica, the BBC eventually called Beach's Dalek into active duty on the show.
So it's now a screen-used artifact. The lead scientist of the Carleds, Davros, who you can see there in his travel machine, basically was investigating what the future of the Carled race was going to be and mutated the Carleds into the Daleks, which is a nasty green squidgy thing or whatever, which can't really move on its own. So he created a travel machine for it, which is the Dalek. They're an analogy to the Nazis in Nazi Germany, really. They just hate everything that isn't a Dalek. He armed them with rather formidable ray gun weapons, which is the strange egg whisk-like thing you can see on the front there and whatever.
You can even step inside a Dalek and operate its weapons. Exterminate!
They set off to conquer the universe, but somehow the Doctor seems to manage to stop them every time.
But you have no weapons, no defenses, no plan!
Yeah. And doesn't that scare you to death?
I think the thing about Doctor Who is that it's the ultimate adventure action series format, in the sense that you've got the ultimate time-space machine. So you have this crazy old sort of street artifact as a police box, which actually isn't when you go inside. It's this ultimately super sophisticated time-space ship, which means you can go anywhere in space and time, and you can have as many different stories as the writers have imagination. I mean, how can you go wrong?
You can't, says Professor and Doctor Who aficionado Ramie Tateishi, who walked through the exhibit to highlight some of his favorite items.
Wow, here's a replica of the first TARDIS console. Something funny about the first TARDIS console, it was actually painted lime green because under black and white lighting conditions, it showed up as gleaming white.
What does the radiation read, Susan?
You get to see all the controls up close. They really did a beautiful job recreating this. I love that you can get up close and you can see the labels, that they used a label maker to label some of these controls here.
This is such a beautiful collection of all the TV Doctors, starting back from 1963. And notice how the image of the Doctor changes as we go through the decades. There's like a very classical Edwardian kind of feel, but then it gets more and more, eccentric as we go into now the 70s and then into the 80s. I mean, certainly that one there. Over here, these are the modern Doctors for this series that started in 2005. And again, it's a pretty eclectic mix of different types of styles. A lot of the eccentricity comes to the details. For example, if you look at the shirt up close, Matt Smith's shirt, there's this very intricate sort of loophole design. Here's something else I'm very, very excited to see. This is Sabalam Glitz, who's kind of like a lovable rogue type figure in 80s Doctor Who. This is his spaceship, the Nosferatu. And so you can see the actual tangible object here, and there's just a different connection that you have to something like this. Just a nice callback to a different time and how we had these different relationships with the props and costumes and objects in our favorite TV shows.
Whether you're a longtime fan reveling in the nostalgia of the exhibit, or someone brand new to the Whoniverse, you can enjoy Comic-Con Museum's Doctor Who Worlds of Wonder now through March 2026. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.